What's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, your TCG guy, and I'm here with a deck tech video for you. Sorry, I don't know what that was. This is my Kotori Pilot Prodigy deck. This is my Azorious Vehicles deck that really only cares about making Mech Titan. And to be completely honest with you, I win if I can make Mech Titan and swing with it one time. That's all I care about. That's all I want to do. And if I can do that, even if I lose the game, I still won the game. Yeah, this is the deck tech. The deck list, there we go, will be in the description below, so if you enjoy, you can take a look at it. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know if you make any changes, upgrades, changes. I said that twice. Take a look at it. Here's the video. Here's the deck tech. I hope you enjoy it. Alright, so this deck is based on Kotori Pilot Prodigy. She is a 2/4 legendary creature, Moonfolk Pilot, for 1 white and a blue. And she reads, vehicles you control have crew 2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target artifact creature you control gains lifelink and vigilance until end of turn. That is humongous and has gotten me out of a ton of binds. But that crew 2 is huge. And we're going to talk about some of the vehicles that are going to take advantage of these abilities. But first, before we do that, let's talk about the other card that I really wanted to build around here. And that's Mech Titan Core. Mech Titan Core is a 2-mana artifact. It's a 2/4 artifact vehicle that reads, for 5 generic mana, you exile Mech Titan Core and 4 other artifact creatures and or vehicles you control. Create Mech Titan, a legendary 10/10 construct artifact creature token with flying, vigilance, trample, lifelink, and haste. That is all colors. When that token leaves the battlefield, return all cards exiled with Mech Titan Core except Mech Titan Core to the battlefield tapped under their owner's control. And this vehicle itself has crew 2. So when this card was first spoiled, I knew immediately that this was going to be a creature or vehicle that I wanted to build around. I am a 90s kid, and Power Rangers was a massive part of my life. So seeing that you could literally build your own Megazord or Voltron or Gundam, name your 90s kid mech of choice, really got me excited. And so I knew immediately that this was going to be a card that I was going to build around. I just needed to find the commander that was going to work for it, and Kotori seemed to fit perfectly. So with this, you just jam in a bunch of vehicles, other artifact creatures, artifact tokens, and then pretty easily you can make Mech Titan, which is a 10/10 everything but indestructible creature, which basically is the Megazord from Power Rangers. So with that being said, let's go over some of the new vehicles from Kamigawa that are really going to set this deck off. All right, Mobilizer Mech is one of the better ones in this deck here. It is a 3/4 artifact vehicle for 1 and a blue with flying, and it reads, whenever Mobilizer Mech becomes crewed, up to 1 other target vehicle you control becomes an artifact creature till end of turn. It itself has crew 3. This is good because you can crew this and then basically crew any of your other vehicles for free. It's just a great value engine, especially for a vehicles deck. Even without Mech Titan or Mech Titan Core on the battlefield, this vehicle is going to put in a ton of work for you. Another good vehicle to have here, especially in colors that don't ramp very easily, is Aerial Surveyor. This is a 3/4 artifact vehicle for 3 and a white. When it has flying, and then when Aerial Surveyor attacks, if defending player controls more lands than you, you can search for a basic plains, put it onto the battlefield, tap it, and shuffle. So it's an excellent, hard to remove piece of ramp for a vehicles deck, and a color combination, frankly, like I said, that doesn't ramp very well. Up next here we have Imposter Mech. I think it's one of the best vehicles that's been printed in a long time. It is a 3/1 artifact vehicle for 1 and a blue. For 1 and a blue. You may have Imposter Mech enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature an opponent controls, except it's a vehicle with crew 3 and it loses all other card types. It itself has crew 3 as well. It's a clone for 2 mana that is, again, hard to remove unless it's a creature. And then you can just take your opponent's best thing and use it against them. This one here is a commander on its own and could be swapped out for Kotori if you really wanted to do it, but I think Kotori is a little bit better in this build particularly. This is Shorikai Genesis Engine. This is in talks, I think, to be one of the best Azorious commanders out there, especially for things like EDH, because you can really take advantage of this card. It's an 8/8 legendary artifact vehicle for 2 and Azorious, and then the ability says 1 in tap, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. You create a 1/1 colorless pilot creature token with this creature crews vehicles as though it were power 2 or greater. Were 2 greater, excuse me. And then Shorikai Engine can be your commander. This is a combo piece. You can, you know, find ways to untap it and really go insane with it. But in here, it's just a value engine to draw some cards. And it's an 8/8 beater that with Kotori on the battlefield, we can crew with any one of these pilots it's making and with any one of our smaller creatures that we have. It's just a great vehicle in this deck. All right, the last one of the new vehicles I'm going to talk about is Prodigy's Prototype. This one is a 3/4 artifact vehicle for 1 in Azorious. When one or more vehicles you control attack, create a 1/1 pilot creature token with this creature cruise vehicles as though its power were 2 greater. These aren't the only new vehicles we have in the deck. I'll post the deck list down below so you can see every single vehicle we have here. I thought these ones were just the biggest ones and best ones to talk about as far as what is in this deck, though I will go over some of the older vehicles that I think are going to work really well in this deck as well, and here are some of those. All right, we're not going to spend a ton of time going over each one of these, so here in no particular order are a few of the older vehicles from the older sets that I feel go really well in this deck. First we have the Weatherlight, then we have Smuggler's Copter, we have Parhelion 2, which is a beast of a card, then we have Cultivator's Caravan and Colossal Plow. So those are some of the older vehicles that I think work really well in this deck. And again, these aren't every single one. You know, go through, take a look at all the vehicles. A lot of them come in the pre-con already that you can use. But go through the vehicles. Really, you can plug in here any vehicle you want. And I think it's going to work really well, especially with Kotori. So really mix and match to your liking. Find the ones that work for you, and just have fun with it. All right, so up next are some of the creatures that are going to work really well in this deck. Let's go over a few of those now. So there are a couple of obvious includes here. You have your Ethereum Sculptor, you have your Foundry Inspector, things that are going to make your artifacts cheaper. Obviously throw those in here. Things that I think are going to work really well though are things like Deadeye Quartermaster. This is a 2/2 creature human pirate for 3 and a blue. When Deadeye Quartermaster enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an equipment or vehicle, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. So it's a 4 mana vehicle tutor. This can find you your Mech Titan core. It can find you any pieces you need. Any of your recursion pieces as far as the vehicles, because there's a few that will pull things back from your graveyard if you need to. It's a very good creature to have in this deck, and it earns its spot. Kitsune Ace is another new card. This is a 2/2 creature fox pilot for 1 and a white. Whenever a vehicle you control attacks, choose one. That vehicle gains first strike till end of turn, or you can untap Kitsune. So you can do some cool combos, shenanigans with this by tapping Kitsune to crew a vehicle, attack with the vehicle, untap Kitsune. If Kotori's out, your vehicle's going to have vigilance, so you can just really make sure you're attacking, but also keeping her defenses up, which is really important. Lashiel Clockwork Scholar is another great card to have in this deck. It is from the Strixhaven precons, the red-white Strixhaven precon. This is a 2/4 legendary creature Elephant Artificer for 2 and a white. It reads, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to attacking artifact creatures you control, and then whenever 1 or more artifact creatures enter the battlefield under your control, you can draw a card. This ability only triggers once each turn. That part isn't as huge here. It's the preventing combat damage for your attacking artifacts. This deck is going to want to swing with a lot of vehicles, so making sure that you can swing kind of, you know, willy-nilly, if you will, is going to be huge and something that you're going to want in this deck. So definitely pick up yourself a Lashiel if you don't have one. Next up, we have Hotshot Mechanic. This is also from the new set. It is a single white for a 2/1 Fox Pilot. Hotshot Mechanic crews vehicles as though a power were 2 greater. So just like the pilots, it's just a really good crew creature. Definitely worth throwing in here. And then one of the last creatures I want to talk about, it's from the precon itself. Cyberdrive Awakener. It's an artifact construct. It's a 4/4. Other artifact creatures you control have flying. And then when Cyberdrive Awakener enters the battlefield, until end of turn, each non-creature artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 4/4. So this is just going to, if you have a board full of vehicles, let's say someone board wipes and then all you have are your like 5 or 6 vehicles that are still out there. If you drop a Cyberdrive Awakener on the next turn, all of those creatures now have flying, and now they're all artifact creatures with base power 4/4. So even your weaker vehicles are now 4/4s flying, and they can punch somebody straight to hell. So Cyberdrive Awakener, definitely a card I think is worth keeping in this deck, so don't sleep on this one. Alright guys, for the instants and sorceries, this is a fairly simple package that I have in mind. You can check out the deck list, I've linked it down below so you can see exactly what I'm running. But for these, I would recommend, you know, there's a couple of cards that come in the pre-con that I think work really well. Things like Access Denied, I think is a great counterspell for this kind of deck. things like Organic Extinction are a great piece for something like this, but you can kind of mix and match and find the pieces that you want. If you want to go more recursion heavy, you can go with things like Refurbish or Open the Vaults. If you want to go, you know, more pump magic, there's definitely spells that will pump artifact creatures, make them indestructible. There are ways to really support your vehicles in combat. But again, what I like about this deck is there is no one solid way to build this. You can kind of really get creative with these spell packages to really tailor it to how you want to play. Mine specifically is a little mix of recursion with some protection. So it's, you know, it's for mine, it's a good way to ensure my artifact vehicles are always out, and also assuring that they stay out. But again, you can play it however you want to. That's the beauty of this deck. So with that in mind, build it how you want to. There's no right or wrong way to eat a Reese's. I hope I can say that, because I just did. All right, guys, that's it. As far as the land package goes, it's a fairly simple Azorious land package. There's nothing crazy in here. There you go, guys. There it is. That was my Kotori Pilot Prodigy deck. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see the deck list, again, it is in the description below. And remember, if you want to see these decks played, I stream every Thursday and Sunday currently. I will be adding some extra days, potentially, here and there, to do things like Flesh and Blood streams and Digimon streams, things like that. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, let me know if you want to see more of these. We'll get some of those going. I have so many. I have so many deck techs waiting in the wings. I can bring them out for you. I can't wait to do more. All right, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot, and let's shuffle up and get a game. I'm still trying that on. I don't know if it works, but here we are. Whatever. Let's go with it. All right, have a good night.